Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this video. I'm actually excited to do this video because if you saw the title, I am going to do a mid-year book tag. And I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about the books I've read this year, mostly because, you guys get to know my taste of books a little better, what books I liked, what books I didn't like. So I'm just gonna get right into the questions. I'm super excited to do this. Very kind of nervous though. I have my brother right here. First question is the best book that I read 2023. I actually have two books, and the first book is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is actually the first book I read this year. I read it right after New Year's, and it was a really good book. If you guys don't know, this is book 3 in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I read all of them. I'm super excited for Hawthorne Legacy, which is book 4, I believe, coming August. But this book was super good. I wouldn't say it's mystery, but it does have a lot of riddles, stuff like that, riddles that you go into. So I would say it's mystery. There's a little bit of romance here. It's a little bit of a love triangle here and there throughout the trilogy. But I just love the action and the plot. I love the found family in this book, in a sense where like the whole book, when it talks about the family, it's very dramatic. Like you read the book and you see the families and you're like, wow, that's a dramatic family. I mean, in my opinion, it's a type of dramatic family that I would not want to be a part of. Next book that I read that was so good for me is Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. I read this book not too long ago, very recently, and I gave this book 5 stars. It was super good. This is book 3 in the Shatter Me series. I still have a bunch more to go. At first, these 3 books were originally the first trilogy of the Shatter Me series, but the author decided to come back a couple years later and write 3 more. So I'm pretty sure it's a series of 6 books. But I'm actually happy that she wrote more books because I felt like this book still did end off on like a somewhat of a cliffhanger where you're like, what happened to everyone else? Like, how did everyone else, like, what happens next? Type of thing. But this book was super good. It's dystopian fantasy. This is a love triangle. This is dystopian. I'm very excited though because the series doesn't revolve around just the romance. Like, it doesn't revolve around the love triangle, but this is about Juliet who tries to overcome her powers. She has powers to shatter and kill someone if she touches them. And this is her where her character development really just blossoms because she starts to learn a little more about herself and has a little more character and to say no and start doing things that she wants to do for herself. So next question is the best sequel, and that is Unravel Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is book 2 in the Shatter Me series. It was a really good book. She was definitely a little more mature than she was in the 3rd book, but super good. Like I said, I gave this one also 5 stars.
Dang.
Book 1 was 4 stars. I mean, a lot of people think that the first book isn't really the best, and I kind of agree, but this book was 5 stars. It was super good. I loved the character aspect and development of all the characters. I love all the characters in this book, in this series. My favorite character actually is Kenji. Like, he's the best. He's like the best character anyone could have written as the best friend type of thing. Like the best friend to the main character, he's just like the best written character there, I think. But it's so good. The love triangle really is very interesting. The dystopian and action aspect of this book is very surprising, very interesting. I was very surprised how this book ended, how this book kept going. There's a lot of action and some plot twists to this book, so I recommend if you guys want to watch it, read it. Next book is most anticipated release I'm excited about. I do have some. One is Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. This is her first YA book that will be coming out soon. I don't know how soon, but I'm very excited for that. Like I said, the Hawthorne Legacy, which is coming out August 30th next month, and I'm so excited for that because it's book 4 in the Inheritance Game series. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this book revolves more about the Hawthorne brothers instead of the main character that we see in the first 3 books. So super excited by that. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I read Icebreaker this year as well. It's her first book that she's written, I believe. So Wildfire comes out pretty soon. I think October? I don't know. I don't know when it comes out, but I'm excited to read it. You know, stuff like that. I think those are the only 3 books I'm actually excited for at the moment. My biggest disappointment of this year. That is biggest disappointment. That is very sad. My biggest disappointment is, funny you should ask.
Sucked.
It was terrible. And it's funny how he says it sucks because he's the one who actually picked this one out.
So bad.
This is about Alyssa Sussman. I gave this book 1 star.
Damn!
I think. I can't remember. Look how small this book is. This book took me 2 months to finish. And it's very sad because the book is like not even 400 pages. Like not even, it's like 30 pages past 300. It was so bad. This is about like a dual time span type of thing. It goes to the past and present a lot throughout the book. I'm pretty sure it's not dual point of view. It just goes back and forth through time. It's about this writer, this journalist who interviews a bunch of celebrities. And I would say about like 10 years ago, maybe longer, 10 years. 10 years later, something happens. 10 years ago, she interviews her favorite celebrity, her celebrity crush. Something happens in those 3 days that she's interviewing him, and we already know what that is. And then 10 years later, everyone loves her vlog. Everyone loves her story that she came out with him 10 years ago. And everyone's saying, write another story about him. Write another interview. Do another interview with that guy. But obviously she doesn't want to, but she has no choice. So she goes to interview him again, and things light up again. We all know how that goes. They fall back in love again. The main reason I didn't like this book, one, because it was very slow. I felt like the book carried on longer than it needed to be, or it didn't have enough, didn't have enough excitement or a better plot to get me into the book. It took, like I said, it took me 2 months, and this book is it's not that long. So another thing is it wasn't realistic. I didn't like how they spent not even 2 days together. They fall in love, something happens, and then 10 years later, they barely know each other. Like, they barely know anything about each other. And 10 years later, they're like, I'm still in love with you. Like, I just didn't like the aspect of it. The only reason I picked up the book is because the cover, super cute. I loved the whole vibe of the cover, the dog, I loved it. And another reason is because, main reason my brother picked it out is because the celebrity was rehearsing or acting to be James Bond. And James Bond is like his favorite movie, but...
Yeah, but he sucked.
But the whole book sucked. It was like 1 star, 1.5. Really bad. Best release of this year is What Happens After Midnight by K.O. Walter. This is her 2nd book. I'm pretty sure it's probably... Yeah, I think it's her 2nd book that she's ever written. Came out last month, and I loved it so much. I gave this book 5 stars. I read this on a family trip a couple weeks ago, and it was so good. I really connected with the characters, with the plot. I understood where the main character was coming from in all of her stress and everything. This is second chance, friends to lovers, high school, boarding school. It's about Lily and Tag, who are in boarding school. They're about to graduate high school, and they have a senior year prank every year. And Tag ends up being the jester, and the jester gets to pick a couple people to help him with the prank, and he ends up picking Lily. Only thing is that Lily feels like she hasn't had enough fun this year, that she's a goody two-shoes, so she wants to do something exciting. She's like the nerd at the school. Like, she's like the teacher's mom too, like teacher's daughter. Very exciting. I wouldn't want to be in her place, but whatever. So what happens next is that she gets picked to help the jester, but no one knows who the jester is. So when she finds out it's Tag, her ex-boyfriend is the jester. And it's very exciting because they broke up, but she never really fell out of love with him. So I understood where she was coming from in that aspect, where she broke up with him, but she never lost feelings for him. So I connected a lot with the plot, connected a lot with the characters. I really loved a lot of the Taylor Swift references that they put in this, because I'm a major Swiftie. Like, I love Taylor Swift. So when I read like the Taylor Swift references, I was like so happy. And it reminded me a little bit of Gilmore Girls. Like the mother and daughter relationship, the mother's boyfriend relationship that she has was very like Lorelai and Luke and stuff like that. It was super good. 5 stars. Loved it.
5.
A book that made me cry. I don't know if you guys have ever cried in this book. I feel like it's very weird that I cried, because I've seen a lot of reviews about this book, but I've never seen anyone cry. But I'm a sensitive person, so. The book that made me cry is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 1 in the ACOTAR series. I'm pretty sure there's like 5. Yeah, I think there's 5, maybe 6, I don't know. And the books are very big. They get chunkier and chunkier, but whatever. This book wasn't that big. This is a Beauty and the Beast inspired, I'm pretty sure, and I loved it so much. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite Disney movies. This is enemies to lovers. I loved the characters, how they were very related to Belle and Beast and the relationship with the main characters, Tamlin and Feyre. We all know what happens. You know, if you've seen Beauty and the Beast, you can pretty much tell what happens. It's a fantasy romance, so what happens is she ends up killing a wolf in the woods. Tamlin, who is the High Lord of the Spring Court, comes and he's like, you killed my wolf, now you're my prisoner. So to save her family, she goes. We all know what happens. They hate each other. She doesn't trust it. She doesn't trust him. And then later on, they start spending a little more time together and they fall in love. The reason the book made me cry, if you guys read this book, the reason the book made me cry is what she goes through. I don't want to spoil anything, but what she goes through towards the end of the book to save a bunch of people, including Tamlin, is completely sad. It's completely heartbreaking. I remember reading this book and I was sobbing. And I feel like that's very exaggerating, because I've seen a bunch of reviews, like I said, but no one has ever cried in this book. So it's like, I feel like it's extra for me that I cried. But this book did make me cry. And I gave this book 5 stars. It was super good. Loved the plot. I loved how fast-paced it was. I loved the action in it. I loved everything about it. But yeah, it was sad towards the end. I started sobbing towards the end. Let's talk about books that made me happy. First book is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I loved this book so much. This was 5 stars. It did make me really, really happy. I remember DNFing this book, and if you guys don't know what that means, I didn't finish it. I read this book January. This was a Christmas present from a friend December, and I started reading it January. I don't know, reading this book now, I don't know why I DNF'd it or why I didn't like it. I got like 100 pages in the book and I felt like I don't know what happened. Like, I really don't know, because it's like I DNF'd it, and I feel like the main reason was because I thought it was slow, or that I wasn't in the right mindset to read it. Either or. But reading this book recently, I just thought, like, why did I not like it? Because it ended up being a 5-star read. There's a lot of 5-star reads in this pile. It's like I went to Barnes & Nobles and picked up all the good ones type of thing. I don't know. This is about Libby and Wes. I love Wes. He's a 10 out of 10 boyfriend, but whatever. This is about Libby and Wes. Libby's going through her own grief right now. They're both seniors in high school. Wes and her are enemies. This is enemies to lovers. An out-of-town friend moves back to town. Childhood friend comes back, moves back to town, and she's like, oh my god, I need to get that guy to be my prom date. Like, this is fate. Why else would he have come back senior year? Like, this is fate. The universe wants me to go to prom with him. She is a hopeless romantic. So she was hopelessly thinking that she can actually get Michael, the guy, to go to prom with her. But obviously, he thinks that she's really weird. She's still the weird little Libby that he last time he saw her. So she gets Wes and her are neighbors. She gets Wes to help her make him notice her. Because Wes and him are actually friends. So she's like, help me get him to notice me. I need your help. I need you to teach me how to be cool. She basically wants to change herself. And she wants Wes's help to do it. They do end up having a fake date for a little bit in one scene, and it was very interesting. I love this book a lot. I gave it 5 stars. It made me happy throughout reading the book. After I finished the book, I was like squealing like a little girl type of thing. Like, it was super good. Next book is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I also love the cover type of thing. This is also by Lynn Painter. I love this book too. It's surprising though, because a lot of people, when they get into Lynn Painter, they read better than the movies first. I do the opposite. I read The Do-Over first. I bought this a long time ago in Target, and I never really read it until June or April. Can't remember. I'm pretty sure April. I think it was April. I read this. It was super good, kind of different. I felt like I was reading my favorite Hallmark movie. This is about Emily and Nick. Emily has a boyfriend, stuff like that. It's Valentine's Day, and she has to relive watching her boyfriend cheat on her again and again. So she's reliving the same day over and over again on Valentine's Day. But as she's reliving the same day over and over again and trying to prevent her boyfriend from cheating on her, she keeps bumping into, like literally, if you see the cover, she ends up bumping into Nick again and again. The thing about Nick is that he's the sarcastic guy of the school. He doesn't really do the whole like school thing when it comes to like school activities, or if he doesn't really interact with anything other than just schoolwork. If it's not for school or schoolwork, he's not gonna be there. Mainly because he suffers through his own grief and loss, so he feels like high school isn't that important. He's just trying to get through high school, go to college, stuff like that. So I love Nick. Like, I just loved his sarcasm personality, like his sarcastic personality. I really liked it. It was super funny. This book was funny. It was cute. It was very fast-paced. It wasn't slow either. I love the banter between the both of them. Next question is most beautiful books I bought this year. One of them is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I haven't read this book yet. People saying that I should read the Caraval trilogy first, because this is like a spin-off of that trilogy. Like, a lot of spoilers of the last book in that trilogy comes out in this book. So I'm reading it now. It's kind of hard for me to read it because, I don't know, I can't really get into it. But I feel like I should read the trilogy first, so I don't have anything ruined for me if I planned on reading it later. So, but look at the cover. Like, the cover is so cute. I got the Barnes & Noble special edition. There's like another version of the cover that I also really, really want. Like, I'm not one to like buy 2 of the same covers of books, or like 2 of the same books but different covers. I don't really do that. But for this book, I really, really want to. Another book that was super cute, although it didn't live up to its cuteness, no offense, is We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is book 2 in the Knock 'Em Out series. I DNF'd this book. Don't hate me. I was very excited. I read Things We Never Got Over, which is the first book in the Knock 'Em Out series. I really wanted to read it. I was super excited for this book. I loved Things We Never Got Over. Was 5 stars. I read it last summer. It was so good. I loved it so much. I liked their banter. I got up to page like 60, and the book made me so uncomfortable that I just stopped reading it. And it's kind of sad, very sad. If you guys read this and you guys really liked it, yeah, but it's sad. Trust me, I hate that I did not like it. I wish I would have liked it. I just did not. Last book I bought this year that's super pretty, that I thought was super cute, is Tomorrow, Tomorrow, Tomorrow by Gabriel Zevins. This is literary fiction, I think. The cover is so cute though. Like, I love like the ways, I love the color of the text of the front. It's super cute. This is literary fiction. I don't really know much about this book. I haven't read it yet. I'm probably gonna read this soon, because right now I'm in a reading slump. Because I read Ignite Me. It's the last book I read. I made a really bad mistake of reading a 3rd book in a series before having the rest of the series with me. So now I pick up a book, and if the book doesn't have like the main characters, sub-characters, dystopian aspect of it, I don't feel like picking it up. And that's something I really hopefully this book gets me out of my slump. It's kind of chunky, it's kind of long, but hopefully the book gets me out of my slump. This is the next book I'm going to try that I hope is going to get me out of my slump. Because if not, I think I'm going to have to wait till next week to go to Barnes & Noble's and get some more books. I feel like I just need a Barnes & Noble's haul to like get me excited to pick up another book. Because right now, I lost all motivation and excitement to read a book after reading Ignite Me. Ignite Me really like destroyed me. I don't know. Favorite new author. Next question is favorite new authors. One of them is Tahereh Mafi. I really love her writing style. It's super fast paced. I really want to read more of her books. Lynn Painter, Lauren Asher, Jennifer Lynn Barnes, Sarah J. Maas. Those are my new 5 favorite authors. I know I was probably only supposed to say 1, but I have 5 new favorites this year. So, and then last but not least, my favorite fictional crushes of this year. One of them is Wes by Better Than the Movies. I loved Wes so much. I loved his personality. He was super funny, super sweet, a little sarcastic in some areas. I don't know why, but when a guy's sarcastic, he's more funny. I feel like a guy is a lot more funnier and has a better sense of humor when they're sarcastic. Like, I just really like that. I would probably say Jameson from The Final Gambit and the Inheritance Game series. I just love Jameson so much. I just want to read more about Jameson and Avery. I loved reading Jameson and Avery's relationship throughout the entire trilogy. And I think those are my only fictional crushes at this time. Those are all the questions for this video. I'm happy if you guys stuck by and finished the video. If you guys did enjoy this video, like and subscribe. Comment down below what are your favorite books and reads of this year. If you guys have read any of the books I've mentioned in this video, tell me what you thought about them. Tell me, comment down below if you liked them. And if you guys want to see more of my videos, or if you guys want to be notified about when I post more videos, click the bell button down below to be notified when I post more videos. Thank you guys so much. I'm excited to post another video, and that will be coming up very soon. Stay safe, God bless, and enjoy the rest of the summer where we have very little left.
Subscribe!
Bye!